The Gospel according to John, the 11th chapter. Glory to you, O Lord. Now there was a man who was ill, Lazarus, of Bethany, from the village of Mary and her sister Martha. It was Mary who had anointed the Lord with unguents, and had wiped off his feet with her hair, whose brother was ill. So the sisters sent to him, saying, Lord, look, he whom you cherish is ill. And on hearing this, Jesus said, This illness is not unto death, but rather is for the glory of God, so that the Son might be glorified through it. Now Jesus loved Martha and also her sister and Lazarus. So even having heard that he was ill, he then stayed on in the place where he was for 2 days. After this, he then says to the disciples, Let us go into Judea again. The disciples say, Rabbi, the Judeans were lately seeking to stone you, and you are going there again? Jesus answered, Are there not 12 hours in the day? If one walks by day, he will not stumble, because he sees the light of this cosmos. But if one walks by night, he stumbles, because the light is not in him. He said these things, and thereafter says to them, Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going, so that I might awaken him. Therefore the disciples said to him, Lord, if he has fallen asleep, he will be saved. But Jesus had been speaking about his death. Yet they thought him to be talking about sleeping in the sense of slumbering. So then Jesus told them forthrightly, Lazarus has died, and for your sakes I rejoice that I was not there, so that you may have faith. But let us go to him. So Thomas, the one called Twin, said to his fellow disciples, Let us go as well, so that we may die with him. On arriving, therefore, Jesus found he had been in the tomb for 4 days already. Now Bethany was near Jerusalem, about 15 stadia away. And many of the Judeans had come to Mary and Martha, so that they might offer them consolation over their brother. So Martha, hearing that Jesus is coming, met him, but Mary sat in the house. So Martha said to Jesus, Lord, had you been here, my brother would not have died. Even now I know that whatever things you ask of God, God will give you. Jesus says to her, Your brother will rise again. Martha says to him, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever has faith in me, even if he should die, shall live. And whoever lives and has faith in me most certainly does not die throughout the age. Do you have faith in this? She says to him, I have had faith that you are the Anointed, the Son of God who is coming into the cosmos. And saying this, she went away and called Mary, secretly telling her, The teacher is here, and he is calling you. And she, when she heard this, quickly arose and came to him. Now Jesus had not yet entered the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. Therefore, the Judeans who had been with her in the house consoling her, seeing that Mary arose quickly and went out, followed her, thinking, She is going to the tomb, so that she may mourn there. So Mary, when she arrived where Jesus was and saw him, fell at his feet, saying to him, Lord, had you been here, my brother would not have died. Therefore, when Jesus saw her weeping, he groaned in his spirit and yielded himself to his turmoil, and said, Where have you laid him? They say to him, Lord, come and see. Jesus wept. So the Judeans said, "See how he cherished him." But some of them said, "Is not this man, who opened the eyes of the blind man, able to bring it about that this man might also not die?" So Jesus, again groaning within himself, comes to the tomb, and it was a cavern, and a stone was lying against it. And Jesus says, "Take away the stone." Martha, the sister of the man who had died, says to him, "Lord, by now it gives off a bad odor, for this is the 4th day." Jesus says to her, "Have I not told you that if you have faith, you will see God's glory?" So they took away the stone. And Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, "I give you thanks that you have heard me, and I knew that you always hear me. But I have spoken on account of the crowd standing all around, so that they might have faith that you have sent me." And saying these things, he cried out in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come forth." The one who had died came forth, feet and hands bound with strips of linen, and his face wrapped in a cloth. Jesus says to them, "Unbind him and let him go." Thus many among those Judeans who had come to Mary and seen what he had done had faith in him.